Unless you come in early Saturday morning with Jerry, you have to know by tomorrow night, okay? So, odds are the truck will be sitting on the pad when you pre-trip it. You'll do the outside, then you'll get inside and do the whole end cap, all right? So, remember on your paper it says safety, combination, indicator lights, and gauges. Those first letters are SCIG, SCIG. That's a little acronym you can remember. Okay, SCIG, safety, combination, indicator lights, and gauges. So you can remember what order to do everything, okay? So first you're going to do your safety. Everything's 4 points. Remember, it's fours. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to check my seatbelt. I'm going to make sure my seatbelt is not cut or frayed and that it latches and unlatches properly. At this point on the test, go ahead and latch it and leave it latched. Next, I'm going to check for my fire extinguisher, which is right here in the floor. It's securely mounted, fully charged, and ready for use. Next, I'm going to check for my spare fuses, which are up here. And then I'm going to check for my 3 reflective triangles, which are behind the seat in the cab. Next, I'm going to do my combination items, okay? I want you to think of it as a backwards C. Combination C, a backwards C. First, I'm going to check my mirrors and my windshield. 2 things, 1 point. My mirrors are not cracked or broken, and they're set for my vision. The windshield is not cracked or broken, and there's no stickers or anything blocking my view. I'm going to come down to C to my wipers and washer fluid. 2 things, 1 point. My wipers are not cut or broken. They're firmly against the windshield, and the washer fluid sprays on the window. I'm going to continue down to this area. My heater and my defrost both work properly on all stages. And lastly, the C ends up right in the middle. I'm going to check my city horn and my highway horn to make sure they both work properly. Next is I for indicator lights. So to get the lights to work, you got to turn the key on. Turn the key on. First thing I'm going to look for is my ABS light to come on and go off. ABS light came on and went off. Next, I'm going to check my indicator lights, which are my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my 4-way flashers, and my bright lights. You can do this and just fake it. Rick won't care, or you can turn the lights on, up, and pull back on the knob and you'll see the blue light come on, okay? Make sure you turn the lights back off. Next, you have to do your gauges. So I got to do a safe start because the gauges don't work unless the truck is running. I'm going to look around me, check my surroundings. Truck is in neutral, brakes are set, safe start the vehicle. Okay, now I'm checking my gauges. Checking my oil pressure gauge, my water temperature, my voltmeter, and my air pressure gauges to make sure they're all coming up and working properly to where they should be. Now the voltmeter's actually numbers at the bottom of the readout here, okay? It says 13.9. You got your oil pressure, water temperature, voltmeter in the middle, and the 2 air gauges on the right. It's magic wipers. Have y'all figured that out yet? If they come and go, I don't know. Alright, next you get to start your brake check. So you got to start off with a full tank of air. We don't have a full tank of air, so make sure you do. Rev it up till you get one. Wait till it pops off, okay? I'll turn the cruise control on, hit resume. 2 or 3 times, okay? Or you can use your foot, whatever. So your brake check in this truck is a cross. Up, down, side to side. Full tank of air. Trucking gear. Key off, motor off, key on. Release both brakes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first 4 parts of your brake check. Full tank of air, truck in gear, motor off, key on, release the brakes. Still got to give it another second or 2. hear it pop off, you have a full tank of air. Okay, cruise off. Now I have a full tank of air and I'll begin my brake check. I have a full tank of air. I'm going to put the truck in low gear. I'm going to turn the motor off. I'm going to leave my hand on the key and I'm going to turn the power back on. Make sure you see the lights come on and the gauges cycle. Lastly, I'm going to release both brakes. The door's open. Okay, can y'all hear?
Yes, sir.
All right. After the initial loss, I shouldn't lose more than 3 psi in 60 seconds. The gauges have stopped. Everything's not leaking. Would you like for me to continue? Yes, continue. Next, I'm going to apply the service brake, and after the initial loss, I shouldn't lose more than 4 psi in 60 seconds. Always tell him ahead of time what you're doing and then do it. Okay, the gauges are set. They're not leaking. Would you like for me to continue? Continue. Next, I'm going to pump the service brake down until both the low air warning light and buzzer come on and stay on by 55 psi. Gotta say bye. Okay, they both came on by 55. And next, I'm going to continue to pump the service brake until both the park brake valves pop out between 45 and 20 psi. Watch them. Make sure they both come out. Sometimes they don't. All right, it's out. At that point, you have passed the in-cab inspection. When you start with a full tank of air, until these pop out, that's what you have to know. Everything before this point and everything after from here on out is points. So if you forget something, that's okay, it's points. That part you have to know. Next, I'm going to do another safe start. I'm going to look around, check everything out. I'm going to put the truck back in neutral. The brakes have already set. Fire it up. Now what I'm looking for is for the truck to build air to between 85 and 100 psi in 45 seconds at idle speed. Would you like to wait? You'll say no, rev it up. So go ahead, turn the cruise on, hit the cruise, bump it up as far as it'll go, and build up the air pressure. Once the truck gets to about 100 psi or so, that's enough air to do the brake check, tug test, whatever you want to call it, the tug test, not the brake check. You gotta have a full tank of air to do the brake check, but not the tug test. Working. I see you gotta turn that on each time. Okay. Alright, so we got 100 psi, that's good enough for the tug test, alright? So now, both brakes are set already, so we're going to start at that point. We're going to tug against both brakes. So I'm going to put it in a low gear. I'm going to ease out until I feel the truck start to nudge. Okay, now I'm going to release the tractor brakes and tug against the trailer. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. Okay, next I'm going to set the tractor brakes, release the trailer brakes and tug against the tractor. Okay, now I'm going to release both brakes, tug against the trailer hand valve. Okay, good. Now at that point, I'm going to set the brakes, and I'm going to verbally tell Rick the roll test. Next, I would release the brakes, pull forward to 5 miles an hour. I would apply my service brakes, and the truck should not move left, right, or lunge forward. And that's verbal, okay? And that concludes your in-cab inspection.